Hello and welcome back, everyone. We are still here live at OFFF in Barcelona, and I have Kelly here with me. Welcome, Kelly.
Hello.
Let's talk a little bit about yourself. Why are you here? What brings you to OFFF?
Well, it's my first time here, and I've never talked at a place like this before, so I'm kind of nervous, but I think it'll be fine. It's 50 minutes, it's quite a long talk.
What are you going to be talking about?
About my dad, my dogs, no.
I'm sure a lot of people will attend.
No, I hope so. I really hope so. It would be a bit embarrassing if they didn't. So I'll be talking about my history, my journey, everything I've learned up until this point. Everything I've learned and what I'm still learning today, basically.
And at what time is your talk?
7:30.
7:30 p.m.
PM, yeah.
So if you want to join, and if you're here at OFFF in Barcelona, join Kelly at 7:30 p.m. today. So let's talk a little bit about your background. What did you study? What brought you into illustration, design?
So I was always doing art. My father's an artist as well, and we'd always sketch together. And I learned everything I have today from my dad. And I grew up as a dancer, basically, a dancer and a gymnast, and that kind of just fed into everything. And over the years, I ended up going to art school, but dancing on the side. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of just developed from that, basically, and then ended up doing illustration and then print design. It's kind of been like that. My journey hasn't been straightforward, but I'm glad it hasn't actually, so.
That's great. If you guys have questions in the chat, let me know and I'll read them out to Kelly. This is your opportunity. But let's jump into your work. You have your website prepared here. Yeah. What can we see?
Okay, what can we see? Do you know what? I always think it's nicer to show my Instagram as it just shows what I'm doing on a daily basis, basically. I actually just recently did my exhibition at Protein Studio. Mm-hmm. I was saying it was really funny because I literally had 4 weeks to get it ready, and I didn't have a curator or an events organizer. No one tells you how much work it is to put on a show. You've got to get DJs, sponsors, everything, guest lists. So I was doing everything as well as trying to create the artwork.
Wow.
So
show us the artwork.
But it was really, really fun. I created this 3.5 meter wall embroidery. I collaborated with a really amazing girl, and we kind of cut the fabrics up and hand stitched it. It's really nice as well to see your work in different mediums and different forms, and I think that's a really important thing to do as an artist. Is not just to see it in one medium. Is to
that's a print, or you painted
No, this is hand sewn.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like 3.5 meters high.
Wow. And how long did it take?
It took 4 days sewing.
4 days.
Yeah.
For
her to sew. But we cut the fabrics and then she sewed it together. But it was a long process.
And how long did it take you to create that digital?
Digitally, it's paper collage. So I paper collaged it, then made it into a digital file, and then sent it to her. And then we had to basically print each panel off, each fabric bit off onto paper, and then we cut from that.
So basically a 4 steps process.
Yes, it was a long process. Yeah. But it was really fun. And then we also created a zine for it, which was really fun. It was the first time I've actually worked in Riso printing. Is it Riso or Riso? I never know. Riso printing. I'm sure someone might tell me.
I'm digital. I don't print.
So it's really fun.
Okay.
Yes.
Where do you get the inspiration for your figures from?
I mean, that comes from years of development, basically. Yeah. I mean, I always sketched. I'm going to talk about this in the talk tonight, but I used to go to ballroom and Latin dance competition because my family are ballroom and Latin dancers. And I used to kind of sketch the dancers moving around the floor.
I see.
And then over the years, I kind of moved into fashion catwalk illustration. And then the last couple of years, 4 or 5 years, I've been developing the actual style and working into these much more. I call them strong creatures. Like I come from a really strong Italian mother, so I've only ever seen women as like really fearless and feisty, and I kind of just wanted to get that across in my work, basically. So yeah.
I think you definitely did. Now it also makes sense, the movement in the figures, right?
Yeah, it all comes from a long line of gymnastics and dancing and karate. It's so weird when I say that.
That's weird, yeah, that's weird. That doesn't really fit into dancing, does it?
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Show us something that's completely different.
Completely different.
A project that you have done which doesn't have this type of figures.
So I just recently did a project with Bloomingdale's in New York and Everybody World. And they are basically so Everybody World is an amazing brand who works for a more sustainable planet. So they don't exploit people and they don't exploit the planet, basically. And they have a t-shirt called the Trash Tee, and it's 100% recycled cotton. So I worked with them on creating a new collection for Bloomingdale's.
Which is
really
collection.
Exciting. Yeah, it was a full collection, and yeah, it was really fun. And we had the launch a couple of maybe last month, but it was all about being really proud to be wearing recycled clothing, and I think it's a time where we really need to start thinking about that a lot more. Just being proud of it, and I called the project "Thanks, It's Recycled." So yeah.
I agree. I did my master in sustainable design, so I'm
amazing.
all with you on that. Yeah, definitely.
We need to be everyone. We need to be supporting sustainable brands. Because if we the buyers are there supporting them, buying the product, then they can keep creating and moving forward. But it comes from us. It doesn't come from the top.
Exactly. We as designers, we are in charge to create something, and if we create something that the people love and that they see a value for themselves, then they're going to use it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how you change the mindset.
But you can't. It doesn't change from the top. It has to come from us lot working up. Because, but we have the power to do that. So
exactly. Yeah, we definitely do. So, what would you say? Does it take longer to get stuff printed on fabrics or on paper?
So fabrics, you have the issue of, printing anyway is a long game. Like
you never know what comes out.
You never know what's going to come out.
That's why I changed to digital.
Well, yeah, it's probably a good idea. But I think for me, printing on fabric is really exciting because I actually find it easier to print on fabrics.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because it depends what print style you're working with. But for instance, I think this was on the sweaters. It was plastisol. And you get a really vibrant colour from it. Whereas, when you're printing on paper, sometimes it doesn't come out so well unless you're using really expensive, print techniques. But yeah.
That's great. And how long did it take you to do this fashion collection?
This collection, how long did that take? Well, I think I only had about 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
And how many pieces are in there?
9.
9?
Yeah,
wow.
nine pieces. But
are they still online to buy?
I think so. People keep asking me this, but I'm not actually sure. They may be. I think a lot of them have sold out, but I think there may be a few pieces left. Yeah.
But sold out means you were quite successful
with
that thing, right?
I hope so.
Congratulations on that. That's really cool.
I hope so.
And the other ones, you do like huge canvas
murals
stuff as well?
Yeah. So I started doing murals last year at my show. I'll try and find one. This is one I did in Peckham Levels. I actually started doing murals at my last show in summer, and I'd always seen people doing murals, and I was like, how do I do that? And then decided to do 5 at my show. Really bad idea though, because if you've never painted a mural before, there are so many things you need to learn, and I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, it was 3 days before my show, and I had no idea. You have to get the right paint. You have to know what surface you're painting on. If you're going to do it, make sure you're prepped, because I was not.
So what happened?
Well, I had to pull in about 5 people to help me to get it ready for the show.
Okay.
It got done in the end, and then after that, I've done, in the 6 months after it, I did 11 murals all around in Morocco, Germany, France.
Indoors or outdoors?
Some outdoors, some indoors, yeah. But I think if you tell people you do murals, they're going to come to you and go, oh yeah, okay, fine, she does murals. Can you do this? But they're not going to know until you do it. So jump in the deep end.
What's the difference between murals and graffiti?
Well, okay, so when I'll show you the one I did in Murals. So this one, for instance, most of the people who came to this one were graffiti artists, like who was that? Tirsa, Ilk Fonte, Instagrams, and they basically all use spray cans, and probably the right way to do it, but I was using paint, which was the worst idea ever again.
Why?
The wall, because it was in an old warehouse, and the wall was crumbling in on me, like it was crumbling down on me. So I'd paint it, it would crumble, paint it, crumble. Awful. But it got done.
And then you changed it? Do you change
Well, you just have to fill it in and then paint it again.
Again and again and again.
Well, yeah.
So how long does this usually last until you have to repaint it?
Well, I mean, it was only a festival, so it was up for like I don't actually know, maybe a month, but
only, and then they paint over it.
Yeah, they always paint over. The Peckham Levels
so
one is still there. I know it is sad.
But the other ones, they stay, or they also get.
Some of them stay. The one in Peckham Levels is there, and you can go see that. Yeah.
And how long does it stay until you have to redo it?
Well, it depends depends what paints you use as well. Outside, if you're using the right ones.
Can you recommend any?
Well, I would always recommend Collart. I need to get the name of it. Le Bourgeois. It's a French brand. They're the best paint. They paint on any surface: ceramic, fabric, mural work. And actually, it's the paint I used for this festival that I did in Germany. This one here. And their fluoro colours are insane. Can you see?
Wow.
It's so
They're
matte.
really rich.
It's really rich, so matte, and you need like one layer or two, maybe two for the fluoro, but it's the best paint.
Amazing.
I will find it and I will send a link.
Amazing. So when you draw digitally, is your process always, do you always start on paper and then digitalize
Yeah,
it?
always.
Or do you ever start directly in
No,
in a program?
I find it's too static for me to start directly on the computer. I have to feel, it sounds really cheesy, but I have to feel the paper and because it also working on it's not big enough. I love to work on massive bits of paper, and I love paper collage. I absolutely love ripping the paper and getting those different textures. But then I'll always move it to digital. So yeah,
that's amazing. Really great work.
Thanks.
What would you say is the biggest challenge between printing on fabric, printing on paper, and drawing on a wall? What takes longer, and what's the biggest challenge?
Do you know what? I actually prefer doing murals because you really have the you've got the control, because once you send when you send your digital file off and you send it to print, you are literally waiting in that person's hand or that printer's hands. Whereas a mural, if you don't like it, you just go over it and you repaint it, and it's in your control. So I actually prefer doing that. So, yeah.
And the other one is not.
No control. I don't like having no control. It doesn't work.
Let's talk about one project that you're really proud of. And interpret a little bit the picture. Where did you get your inspiration from? What was your idea? What were you thinking whilst you were painting it?
This was a really fun project with Wyden and Kennedy, who are an advertising firm in London and New York, and they have this space called the Makers Residency, and it's the space outside their studio, and they. I'd always see artists in there, and I was like, how do I get in there? And then luckily they came to me last year to take over the space, and they kind of wanted artists to interact with the passers-by. So I thought it'd be a really nice way to kind of highlight and tackle adolescent anxieties that's happening. It's really rife at the moment with online social media being so... I mean, adolescents are getting more and more anxious, and I kind of had the idea, it was called Play the Game, Know the Game, which is the idea of social media is a game, and if you don't know how to use it mentally, it can really It can really it can destroy us, and adolescents aren't ready for that, and we need to really start highlighting it, and so it was really fun. So I basically got people to come by, and it was the idea of learning from the future, so future generations. So people came by, left notes of wisdom to the younger generations, and then I took those notes and made them into art pieces. But yeah,
that's lovely.
It was really fun.
So is it looks three-dimensional?
Well, yeah, so inside, I don't know how many pictures. Yeah, so
wow.
I basically...
So it's the whole room?
It's the whole room, yeah.
Amazing.
And basically, because the subject is quite heavy, so I wanted it to feel quite light and fun and kind of, fruitier inside. But this one, I think I had I had 2 days to paint this one as well, which was pretty hectic because we had...
That's a back wall.
This is the whole.
Oh, the whole
space.
So it was 3 walls.
3 walls, and then we also created these.
Are they custom made?
Yeah, they're custom made.
Wow.
So
did you do them?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, I didn't physically make them, but I designed them. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's right.
But I've now actually made those into plant pots. So
amazing
for people to buy. So
that looks so great. Did someone ask to move in?
I wanted to move in there, yeah. Yeah. I would have
Maybe you need to design some curtains as well.
I know.
That's great. Yeah. We have some questions here in the chat. We have Yoga Teller asking if you take a picture of your design on paper and then trace it in the digital tools.
Yeah, so depends what I'm doing. If I'm doing one of my figures, for instance, I'll either I'll draw it, colour it in black, and then scan that in, and then make that into a vector. Or if I'm really in a rush, I'll do the outline and then I'll fill it in, make it vectored and fill it in online. But that's only if I'm really rushed, which a lot of the time I am because people don't allow you time.
And then do you play around with the colors digitally?
Yes, yeah. I think when a project has to be so finished and when it's not a painting, I think when it's an original painting and you're scanning that in, it's fine for the colours to be a bit, but when it's like more vectors, you just have a bit more control over the colours, so yeah.
Definitely, great. And the other question is, what is your favourite tool?
Favourite tool? Paper.
Paper?
I love paper. I love collage. Because I think sometimes it's really easy to get quite uptight with how we're kind of creating our pieces, and when you're trying a bit too hard, it's not right. So I always try and kind of unrefine and work back to being a kid again, and that's when I can start having a bit more fun. So,
what's your favorite kind of paper? Have you tried out different sorts of papers
before?
Well,
it's really weird. There's actually this paper in Cowling and Wilcox, and it's a rich blue like this. And when you rip it, you get the white come through from the. It's the most beautiful thing. Yeah, it's quite expensive though.
So you use paper to do collages?
Yeah, maybe. and then I'll scan those in, make shapes from them, and then vector them.
Does the white come across when you scan it in?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Wow, that's amazing. How does she like Procreate?
Love Procreate. Yes, love it. It's great. I mean, it's such a fun tool because you can nowadays with the world moving so fast, you almost just don't have the time to spend hours doing a charcoal drawing. So Procreate is just like sending the client the work, the quick draft, and you can show them the different techniques you will be using, which is really good. So yeah.
That's great. You have on your website some other projects, right? Do you want to...
which ones are we talking?
I've seen some other art. Are there some that you're not so proud of, that from which you have learned from what you can do better, that you could show us?
Let me see. To be honest, a lot of my work, about 2 weeks later, I'm like, no, it's awful.
Really?
Don't ever want to look at it again. Yeah. I mean, I think that's quite normal,
and why
though.
Is that?
I think it's just like, it's one of those things, isn't it? You, as an artist, you're continuously developing. Continuously or continually? It's been a long day already. You're continually like learning and developing your style. So, I mean, I am anyway. So when I look back about a year, I'm like, oh, what is that? But I think that's fun, and it means you're moving with the times. And
so what would you tell your younger self?
Not to stop developing, and not to be scared to develop. I think there's this whole big thing about style, and it is really important that we all have our set style. But the one thing we can't stop doing, and that shouldn't deter us from actually developing and trying new things, trying new mediums. You can have your style, but it could be that your style is a particular colour palette, but making sure that you're people can still see it's KA, but I want to do an embroidery today, I want to do a painting today, and it's okay. And I think that's really, it's good to kind of push yourself forward, I think, and that's important.
What's your favourite colours to work with?
Favourite colours? Obviously red, blues. No, blues.
Do you mix the colours, or do you like to use them pure as you can buy them?
It depends. This is why that brand is good, Le Bourgeois, because the colours are so amazing. They actually did my show, so all of the colours were pre-mixed by them, which were perfect. So yeah.
Did you test that before?
Luckily, I had tested them. I'm quite particular with my colours, so I had to test, but they were amazing.
How did you test them? Tell us more about the process.
It sounds so ridiculous, but I was putting up shelves I've got literally white shelves. White shelves, and I just go like that with all the colours, and then I look at how they look next to each other.
So you paint on wood, basically?
It was like a white wood, so I could just test the colours, but...
and then you went with that piece of wood to test the fabric colours?
Well, with this one actually, the one here, yeah, I was... I did do some curtains, but we didn't put them up, actually. It's annoying I can't show you what this ping pong room looked like before. Okay. It literally looked like a den. It was so dark, so dingy. Really? I told them that I didn't want to do the show unless I could redo this room. But this ping pong ball wall is it's 1,000 ping pong balls. It says she's got balls. But it's supposed to be a funny take on the fact that we're supposed to have balls to be strong, which is ridiculous, but yeah.
So do you also do private homes?
No.
No, never?
No.
Nobody ever asked you that?
They do ask me, but I don't. Yeah. I don't. Not yet. Maybe in the future I'll do that, but yeah.
But why? What keeps you back from it?
I don't know. Maybe I will. People, buy commissioned pieces, but I mean I guess that's different. I don't know.
Have you done wallpapers before?
No, but I'm definitely looking into that.
Maybe that's a start.
Yeah.
For interior, right?
Yeah. I mean, what can we not do?
That's really cool. So, is there something that you haven't done yet that you really would love to try out, but you haven't found time yet?
This year I really want to. I made a goals list actually, which is it's a really good thing
for New
to
Year's.
do for New Year's. My agent actually said to me to write a goal list so they know what to push me forward for. And cool. It's actually it's been amazing because since I did that, I've ticked off quite a few of the pieces on there.
Amazing. Maybe also a tip for our viewers: write yourself a goals list.
Write yourself a goals list because it just kind of puts it out there, and then you're subconsciously working towards that. So I've done my first book cover, which is coming out. I don't think I'm allowed to say who it is, but it's coming out very soon in summer, which is fun. So yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. Have you also done magazines and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've done magazine articles, but it's not really my passion to illustrate articles. Or I'd do it, but it's never been my passion.
You just want to work
freely, make things, and yeah.
That's absolutely.
So I'm just reading some of these comments.
Yeah, what comments do we have? I wonder how she comes with the ideas for the illustrations. Is she first looking at what others did, or
is this just in the beginning?
Yep.
So how is that research? Is that, I guess? Yeah. I think it's. I always have this conversation with my mates, actually, or my other illustrator friends, and it's really easy to kind of scroll down Instagram and look at everything that everyone else is doing. But I always go back to my book references, which are, I love Greek pottery. I'm obsessed with Greek pottery, all the gods. For me, that's really fascinating, and I'm always, going to the British Museum. I think it's really good to get out and.
How did that start?
Started so long ago. I've always been obsessed with Olympic memorabilia as well. I collect stamps.
Really?
Yeah, Olympic stamps. It's really geeky. But yeah, I think always revert back to hard copies, books, museums. It's okay to take inspiration, and everyone does. Everyone is out there. We're all in this world together, and we all see, what people are doing, and that's great. But I think always, refer back to hard copy. I think.
Do you travel a lot as well to get inspirations?
Yeah, I mean, well, actually, last year I've been traveling a lot with work, so it's been quite nice to kind of work in those places and kind of live and work, and that's inspiration alone, which is nice. So.
Do you create different things when you're at a different place?
Yeah, I actually, when I was in Morocco, I created a piece there, and then that influenced one of my pieces that I did for Stylist magazine, which was a campaign I did, an out-of-home campain.
Do you have that here on your Instagram?
Yes.
Would be great to see.
Yeah.
To see the difference and the influence.
It was the first. You'll see the. Where is it? Or maybe it was before that. It was the Moroccan tiles that I'd picked up on. Oh yeah, here look.
Oh, the mosaic.
Yeah, look.
That's so cool. Was it on the underground?
Yeah, so it was my first out of home campaign. So it was on 70 tube stations across London, and then
that's amazing.
80 billboards.
It looks so colourful.
It was really fun. Although that happened over one weekend. I had to do that in one weekend. So
you had 2 days?
Yeah, pretty much. So I got
one night.
Yeah, I got the brief on Friday afternoon.
Oh my God.
First draft had to be in Friday end of day, and then I had final draft by Monday. Yeah, it was hectic.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but
that's really cool. And where is the piece that you created in Morocco itself? Do you have that somewhere as well?
I don't think I have that on here actually.
But I can clearly see the tiles. That's really cool. Really amazing.
Yeah.
We also have some portfolios prepared for you, actually.
Okay.
So we had quite a lot of submissions from you guys out there who want to have feedback on their portfolios. So in our other 2 tabs over here, we have Margarita with her portfolio. So it would be great if you could take a look through and say which project catches your eye, which one do you think could be improved, or maybe something around the project could be improved, or what is unclear?
It's really lovely.
Yeah?
It's really nice. This catches my eye, this one
here.
Yeah. Can they see? Yeah,
yeah, let's open it, yeah.
That's beautiful. Oh, that's amazing. I love that. It's really nice, actually, that you can see the pen strokes in this.
Yeah.
I think that's always a really nice touch, and I think it gets lost a lot. I think a lot of us, when we start, getting into using all the Adobe systems, and it is quite easy to start taking away from that natural pen stroke. But I think it's so important to keep that as well, and it just gives the work, and actually, sometimes you think it enhances the work to make it look better, but sometimes it's nice to bring it back. This is really nice too. That's beautiful. So
if Margarita, you are in the chat and you have any questions to Kali, let me know. She's here. She said it was digital. Yeah,
no
it was digital.
Way. That's
how
amazing.
did you do that, Margarita?
Yeah,
tell us more.
I mean, I want to know how to do that. Maybe that's so interesting.
What do you usually draw with when you draw digital?
That looks like a pro marker, actually. That's what I thought it was. Anyway.
What do you usually draw with when you draw digital? Illustrator?
Well, I don't draw in Illustrator. I kind of
you trace.
Trace, yeah.
Your drawings. Have you tried Photoshop?
Yeah, I don't really. I only use Photoshop when I'm editing like paintings that I've done, or But
I would just assume that's probably done with Photoshop brushes. There are Kyle's brushes in Photoshop, and they look quite real. I drew with them before. They have like watercolors that
really?
blend into each other. It's really cool.
Actually, well, you've taught me something.
See, she's saying Photoshop and Cloud Webster's brushes.
I mean, I literally know nothing.
Yeah,
so.
I work for Adobe. I've drawn with them before too. See, I saw this.
That is impressive. I mean,
Margarita and I are...
You need to come here, Margarita, because we obviously have no idea what we're talking about.
I can show that to you later. It's really cool on my computer.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, sad that Margarita is not here. Otherwise, you could ask her directly. But looks pretty, and yeah, I spotted it.
And I'm guessing then
cool
these were done in the same. I really love the hand-drawn type as well. I think it's so nice when people keep their hand-drawn type against their illustration, because I think there's always that people often try and put their hand-drawn stuff next to like really clean graphic type. I think it's nice, but I think it's so much stronger when you do this.
Is it actually a hand-drawn type, or is it a redrawn type?
Maybe
just paint,
I
drawing over a certain type. Maybe you can let us know, Margarita, in the chat. But yeah, really, really pretty cut.
Yeah, I mean, we're not the only ones. Someone else has said, I thought it was an illustration.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's cool.
I think it's really nice to see the work in situ as well, but it is really nice as well to have it quite flat. I think it's always good to have some of your work in situ and some without, because I think when it's too much, when it's all on book covers.
I really like that she has the descriptions in English there, because I personally can't read this font. It's really nice that Margarita, that you put these descriptions in English there, so we understand a little bit about your work and
this texture is really nice that you've used.
Texture,
really nice. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And do you understand each of the projects, what it's all about?
I mean, yeah. I see. When I do my projects, I think a tiny little paragraph like you've got it there is perfect. I think when people try and go too deep and write essays like that, I mean,
that's a blog post, isn't it?
It's like, I mean, the work speaks for itself. And if you do have a thing, edit it. If you're talking too much, I never read it. I'm always just bored looking at the work.
So
I like to know the story.
That's a perfect amount.
Yeah, that's a perfect amount. I like the story behind it, but
well done. And that's a black and white painting. Is there more? Is there more underneath? It's really nice.
It's amazing. This is so good. Oh, this is nice. Where you can see the sketches.
The journey, the sketches, yeah.
I absolutely love looking through people's sketchbooks. Yeah. I think it's something that people don't do enough of, like especially with Instagram and all these social places. Like people love to put the finished product,
the final result.
But it's so nice
even
just to see
the journey.
A little,
yeah.
And something even that you've written is always really nice. Yeah, this is great. It's beautiful.
Is there anything you would tell Margarita what to improve?
I would say not. I mean, it looks like you're doing the right things. I would say definitely play around with different products. Like see how your work can work on different product. I always think it's a nice thing to say you want to be a book cover illustrator. Why not try something else? Why not try a different medium? And because you never know how that could develop your actual artwork as well. Seeing your work in different medium and different form is, it's a good way to experiment, and you never know how that could push your work forward as well. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
So for example, paint on fabrics instead of paper.
or anything, or create one of your set pieces, or it could be any medium, but seeing your work in a different light always helps you develop in a nice way, I think.
But you love seeing the journey, so that's definitely something that you can give our guys out there on the way, to always put in your tasks, your steps that you have done.
Yeah.
Put your first drawings, your first sketches in.
I mean, I think don't go too crazy, like the way she did it. A few little sketches,
like tiny ones.
Yeah,
right?
just to show the development. But I mean, it's so nice to see it and to see how you've gotten to that thought process. So yeah.
Do you find yourself in some of the pieces here?
I would say, I'm just so, I love this piece.
Yeah.
I actually want that as a print. Can I have that as a print, please?
Margarita, can she have that as a print? She's
I would
saying,
absolutely
I'm
love
always
it.
worried about putting different things in my portfolio because it might make it unclear what I actually do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends what you want to do. If you want to be a book cover, I'm saying you don't need to necessarily put it in your portfolio, but don't ever stop yourself from developing, and don't ever stop yourself from trying new things, because you never know which direction that can take you and how that can develop your style. So
maybe the portfolio is just the wrong platform or the wrong medium,
yeah,
right? Because you put everything on Instagram, as we have just seen. So
I mean, I literally haven't updated. I mean, this is really bad. Don't do this. I am working on my new website, but most of what I do, a lot of my work actually comes through Instagram direct.
Really?
I'm not joking. Most of my clients come DM me through my Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
So Margarita, maybe that as a tip, if you want to try out new things, put all your things that you're trying out on Instagram.
I mean,
not
try
on Behance.
Yeah, try it.
But this is a book as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Are there more pages? Oh yeah.
Oh, these are cool. Yeah, this actually the way you've done it here looks so much cleaner than the previous one. So maybe when you are showing your sketches, lay them out like this, so even though it looks like it is development, it looks a bit cleaner. I think that's a nicer way to do. Yeah, I'd say anyway. Oh, it's beautiful. It looks like she I love it.
Drew it with pencil beforehand.
It's great. Yeah, it's really nice to see this. Maybe you can add some of those on your front page so that we can see it's real. Because I would have thought that they were just mock-ups. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's nice to have, some of your images her holding the book, or
so maybe on the opening page.
Yeah, so you can actually see that it's real. It's not just a mock-up. Because I think a lot of portfolios you just see mock-ups and you're like, is that real or not? But I mean, that's amazing. So
that's great. So yeah, I hope that helps, Margarita. Very great work. We don't have any more questions to that, so we can move on to the next portfolio, which is from Miguel.
Oh yes, amazing stuff. So he is graphic designer and art director. This is beautiful.
Yeah, that catches your eye?
Yeah.
Shall we open it?
Such good... It's so nice as well, because obviously... Oh, that's amazing. Love that.
Why?
It's just visually really pleasing.
Because it's on a wall?
I don't know. It's just the colours and the way. It's really funny because, I'm not a graphic designer, but I can really appreciate and just really appreciate the way they can lay out. This just, I couldn't do this, to be honest. Is that so? Have you printed that on, or is that it looks like it's mocked on?
Yeah, Miguel, are you in the chat?
Miguel.
From him.
Is that no?
No, that's Tim. He's just helping out. Thank you, Tim, in our chat. He's just helping out when people ask questions that I oversee. If you're here, Miguel, let us know.
One thing I would always say. He's here.
He's here. Hi, Miguel.
Hi. One thing I'd always say is if you're going to mock up on tees, it's a common, because I've always worked in clothing, so it's a real common mistake to just put the graphics straight on to Photoshop it on. I think it's totally fine when you're mocking up, but make sure that you're using the textures on Photoshop to make sure it looks like it's sitting on the fabric instead of just blocked on top. It actually
Do you have
happens.
A specific one that you can recommend for him for this specific project?
It's the easiest thing, especially with a black graphic. It's just in Photoshop. It's in the layers section. Is it layers?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, where you and it's that is it the transparency it changes,
yeah.
it softens the edges a little bit. I know a lot of people. Screen printing is so expensive, so a lot of people can't print. But yeah, it's always a good kind of make it move and make sure it looks like it's
Is it expensive to print on fabrics? More expensive than on paper?
It's a good question. I would say, yeah, maybe no. I actually don't know. That's a really good question. I guess it depends what you're printing with and on. And I guess the paper stock, I don't know. But I'll tell you what is really good and I was a bit like, oh, I'm not sure about this, but with Everpress, they're really good with printing T-shirts, and you can kind of have your own design, and if you get enough buyers, it gets made. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But a lot of people on there make that mistake. They'll kind of just literally drop a graphic onto a T-shirt. But yeah, so if you're going to do it properly. But I mean, it's a beautiful portfolio. It's really nice to see a mix.
Miguel is just saying thanks for the trick. Photoshop trick. Yeah, try it out.
It's because everyone's there and everyone's done it. It's like.
You would say make it as real looking as possible.
As real looking as possible, because people aren't, because I mean, I've been in the clothing industry for a long time now, so I know that I can spot that straight away. Maybe some people can't, but it just helps you sell it as well to make it look as real as possible. But
would you say a T-shirt is one of the most difficult pieces to design, or what
no,
would you say is?
But for me, clothing is my favourite piece to design onto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which part?
I think because with clothing, you can have so much more fun with layout and graphic, like composition. Whereas when it's paper, it's like that is it. Whereas if it's a T-shirt, you can work on the sleeves and the back. I don't know. But I'm a print designer, so.
But also in fashion, if you put patterns on a fabric, it changes as soon as somebody's wearing it. Physically. Yeah. Because it adopts the shape of the body.
Yeah,
and then it changes. It changes your illustrations, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well,
have you tested that before?
Yeah.
And thought, ooh, that looks odd.
Depends who's wearing it. But but I think it's one of those things. If you. I don't ever do all over pattern anymore. I think that kind of had its day about 10 years ago. But I think it's always nice. Graphics are they're so huge at the moment. It kind of goes through a stage, doesn't it? But yeah.
That's cool. Which other project do you really like?
I really love how he's kind of laid them all out on the black background as well. I think that's so nice because it pops it out as well.
Yeah. Well done,
This
Miguel.
is really lovely. Loading. Hold on, where's the reading? Concept. Oh, that's beautiful. Expression of different drugs and effects.
We have Sophie asking, could you quickly repeat the trick in Photoshop? Maybe we can open Photoshop and just show it. It's probably the easiest. Just for you, Sophie, and Miguel, of course.
Okay. Oh, why does this look so different to mine? There we go. Oh no, that's not it. This looks so different to mine. Hold on. I think I'd need like a sweater or something. Maybe I can...
A swatch?
Hold on. Let me try and get his...
We mock up Miguel's.
Let's mock up Miguel's.
So Kelly is live editing your portfolio, Miguel. Isn't that cool? Let us know.
I mean, don't know how I feel about it.
He's saying to the previous project, this is a school project, about a book about drugs and its effects through different types of narratives, visual and text ones.
Okay, cool. I think what we'll do, we'll link to that after, because I feel like if we can link. Can we add a link to show how to do it? Because I feel like I'm going to have to...
Takes too long.
Yeah, it'll take too long. And I feel bad for working on his artwork.
Okay.
Sorry, Miguel, I wouldn't want that
Miguel, to... we do that later.
We'll
send you a private message.
This is really beautiful. With do you work on your own fonts as well? Or Miguel, do you kind of work with different typeface?
Do you work on your own fonts?
Or typeface? He's
saying, send me the final image.
Yeah. I will.
Yeah, in your dream.
This is amazing. I love this one. Can you talk us through this one? So cool.
Yeah, it would be great to have a description, right?
It's amazing.
Like Margarita did it, just a few lines.
I think actually lines. Did put a description at the top.
Yeah. Oh, here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was this actually? Yeah, it was printed. This is beautiful. I love the stitching. And the textures on this are so... What is this printed on?
Said I would like to, but it's a bought one. I don't remember the name of the condensed one.
Ah, okay. It's beautiful. Love it.
It's nice how bold it is, right?
Yeah, it's really nice.
Do you also play with fonts?
Do you know what? I'm definitely not a graphic designer or a typographer, but for me, letters are just another form of shape. So it's actually been quite fun to take type and work around that. It's just another shape. So it's so fun to kind of work and weave. Sometimes I'll show you some. I mean, I was creating this poster for New York, like this one, for instance. Kind of using the letters and the fonts with that, but I mean, I'm definitely not a typographer.
That's
but
so
it's
pretty.
fun to use those letters, I guess. But
so, did you work with these fonts? Like, did you de-shape?
Well, so that one actually no, but well, I did. So I always just, if I find a font I like, I'll take it and then either depends. This one was just this wasn't for a client or anything, so I could do it. But I mean, it always depends with who you're working with. But a lot of the time I use my own font, like this is my own handwriting. Just depends what I'm doing, basically.
On here, obviously, I can clearly read a word, but on the others, do the letters mean anything, or do you take them? Do you see the shape?
It's
of
more.
the
It's
letter?
more shapes, but it just says art.
Okay.
Lol.
But so you chose it because of the word?
Yes.
You didn't choose it because of the shape of the letter?
No. This
Okay.
one for the word art, but it was
great.
a take on women who art. So yeah.
That's great. Miguel is saying it's all made on the same paper for covers and inside pages. I think it's cyclist offset.
Cyclist offset. Oh, that's good to know. That's amazing.
Is there another one that where you could
this is really nice.
Give a tip for him to improve maybe what he could do better, except for the T-shirt one?
Have a look. Do you know what? It's always nice when graphic designers and art directors collab with something completely different. It's like what I said to Margarita. Like it's so nice when cross like disciplines come together. I know they teach you that in uni and it's like obvious, but it would be really nice to see how you work, for instance, with an animator, or really just get yourself out of graphic design, get yourself out of typography and see how you work as a graphic designer in another form. I always think that's really important.
And do you think it would be a good thing to put that in a portfolio as well?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If the project works, if it's doesn't work.
If you were to extend a project, let's say he created a book and he would want to create a digital book or make this digital, would you recommend to keep it as a separate project in a portfolio, or would you recommend to put it in the same?
Depends if it sits together. If it doesn't sit together, then maybe separate it. But I think it's always good to.
But generally, because of tagging and stuff, like, would you tag one digital and keep it separate, and the other one print and keep it separate? Or
yeah, I guess so. If that would make sense.
Or is it nicer to see the journey, where you started from and where you ended up with?
I think it just depends on. I think you have to just look at it as a whole. If it works, it works. Because you'll feel when it's not right. It always looks wrong when it doesn't feel right. So if that makes any sense.
Definitely. Yeah, we have come up to time pretty much. That was really great. Thanks, Margarita and Miguel, for sending your portfolios. They look really great.
Yeah, they're amazing. Really good.
Sounds as if there's not so much to do for you to improve. So you're in a good spot here. Thank you very much, Kelly, for being here. This was really amazing. It was great hearing about your work and your creative journey and process. Nice having you here. Cool. You are speaking later today, so don't miss that. 7:30 p.m.
It's my birthday, so you have to come.
Oh, really? Happy birthday, Kelly!
Thank you.
Happy birthday. I didn't bring a cake today, but
it's fine.
Yeah, coming up next is Rufus with James, and stay in. And thank you very much for being here and asking all these questions in the chat. See you guys. Bye bye.